This is Hollywood. Matías Bombal with him. The Weinstein Company and BBC Films offer their production of Woman in Gold, which tells the true story of Mrs. Elena Altmann, played by Helen Mirren, who seeks to claim that a portrait of her aunt, Adele Bloch-Bauer, painted by Gustav Klimt, should be returned to her, the rightful owner. It had been in the possession of the Austrian government and displayed at Vienna's Belvedere Palace since the end of World War II, where it had been wrongfully taken by force by the National Socialists who were raiding the art of the world at that time for Germany. This movie begins in the late 1980s, where Mrs. Altmann meets a young lawyer, the grandson of composer Arnold Schoenberg, played by handsome actor Ryan Reynolds.
Ah, here she is. My aunt, Adele. My uncle commissioned Gustav Klimt to paint her.
That's quite a painting.
It's magnificent. She was taken off the walls of our home by the Nazis. And since then, she's been hanging in the Belvedere Gallery in Vienna.
And now you'd like to be reunited.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Make you a rich woman, I'm sure.
Do you think that's what this is about? No, I have to do what I can to keep these memories alive. Because people forget, you see. Especially the young. And then, of course, there's justice.
The road to that justice proves long and hard for Mrs. Altmann, and young Randy Schoenberg is not easy to initially convince in taking the case, with a pregnant mother at home, played by Katie Holmes, and a new boss at a legal firm that is no nonsense at all, played brilliantly by Charles Dance, who was so good recently in The Imitation Game. Yet with time, the stubborn nature of Mrs. Altmann wins him over, as does the realization of the historic painting's market value. Things get off to a good start when a lady judge, played by Elizabeth McGovern in a lovely return to the screen, rules in favor of Mrs. Altmann here in the United States. 2 trips to Austria ensue, where they find help from German actor Daniel Brühl, as a magazine editor who helps cutting through the red tape, as the Austrians are not ready to lose what has become a national treasure. During these visits, the locations provide flashbacks to the past of Mrs. Altmann's youth during the Nazi period in Germany. Schoenberg successfully brings the case to the Supreme Court of the United States.
We're very sensitive to the government's concerns, Mr. Chief Justice. The can of worms argument. But each country is different and poses different conditions. Unlike, say, Cuba, in Austria's case, there's a treaty, so there's no dispute as to what type of law could apply. We recommend opening the can and extracting just the one little worm with a pair of tweezers and then quickly closing it shut again. The defendants in this case have continuously tried to frustrate our attempts, raising every possible objection, threatening an Armageddon in international relations. But let's put things into perspective here. This is a case of one woman wanting back what is rightfully hers. Mrs. Altmann came to America as a young woman in search of peace. Let's give her justice, too.
That was the great English actor Jonathan Pryce as Chief Justice Rehnquist in that scene. With all the great cast and excellent photography by Ross Emery and a wonderful score by Hans Zimmer and outstanding period recreations, sadly, this movie falls flat due to poor writing, specifically the material written for Helen Mirren, who has always been one of my favorite actresses. It is impossible for me to believe that a woman who survived the torment of Nazi oppression, escaping with just her life and husband, could possibly act and behave in the manner in which the part was written. A woman having experienced what this real person had experienced would be strong, almost fierce, and not the fickle and temperamental character Miss Mirren was to realize from this bad material. Further, the cartoonish representation of all Austrians as evil, one-dimensional, melodramatic cutouts is not a fair representation of that country of today. The story advances with ease to the benefit of the main character, which could have been flushed out further, perhaps, to show the emotional effect that the degree of court delays and battle for this artwork imposes on her. But it doesn't, resulting in a predictable this happened and then this happened approach. I am sorry that this seems so one-dimensional, for the picture has much going for it on so many levels, and might have been a much better movie. Not a stinkeroo by a long shot, but it could have been really great. The Motion Picture Association of America has given this a PG-13 rating. This is your pal, Matías Bombal, bidding you a fond farewell.